Good morning and welcome. We are continuing our daily video devotions to the book of 1 Samuel with 1 Samuel chapter 10. And if you'll remember what we talked about on Monday from 1 Samuel 9, we learned that God told the prophet Samuel to go out and that he was going to encounter this young man named Saul. And it was Saul who God wanted Samuel to anoint as king over Israel. And in chapter 9, we learn about Samuel and Saul's initial encounter. And what we've read this morning in chapter 10 is this extended dialogue that Samuel and Saul have about how Samuel plans to anoint Saul as king. And there's a lot going on in this chapter, and I'm not really going to discuss even most of it. But there is this part near the beginning in verses 6 and 7 that I wanted us to focus on today. And I'm going to read verses 6 and 7 for you. Verse 6 says, "The Spirit of the Lord will come powerfully upon you, and you will prophesy with them, and you will be changed into a different person. Once these signs are fulfilled, do whatever your hand finds to do, for God is with you." And the part that really jumped off the page at me when I read this chapter over the last few days is this last part of verse 6, where Samuel tells Saul, "And you will be changed into a different person." And I think this part of verse 6 really jumped off the page at me, because when we have an encounter with God, when we discover just what Jesus Christ has done for us upon that cross 2,000 years ago, when we discover that God looks down on us in our brokenness and in our sins and in our many imperfections, and instead of choosing to judge us or condemn us, much less forsake us, God chooses to love us anyway, then it can't help but change who we are. It can't help but change us as a person. And what I mean by that is that when we discover the love of God, when we discover how the love of God can transform our lives and transform every aspect of our lives, how we relate with other people, how we make sense of the adversity and the uncertainty we face each day, how we approach the challenges and the difficulties that so often come our way, then we can't help but be a changed person. So this morning, I just want to encourage you to think about, just really think about what God has done for you in Jesus Christ. Think about the love God must have for you, that despite the things that you do that should eternally separate you from Him, He looked down on you and chose to love you anyway. Think about how life-changing that is. Think about how it challenges you to go about your life in a new and different way. Think about how you've been changed because of the love God has for you. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll see you on Friday morning for 1 Samuel chapter 11.